Invite our veterans and their spouses to enjoy lunch with us at our annual Veterans Luncheon. The event will be held at the Edward A. Dufresne Community Center on Thursday, November 6th at 11:30 a.m. Gather with your fellow veterans as we celebrate all our military veterans and thank them for all they have done for our country.
We had 37 teams registered. We had 28 new anglers that's never been here before. This Mississippi River, the lower Mississippi down here in southwest Louisiana, is just one amazing place. Good job. It's magical. It is definitely the catfish capital of the universe. It is such a trophy destination. There's so many people that want to come. We're paying out a total of $20,350, I believe it is. First place is going to pay over $9,000. Second place is $5,000. Third place is $3,000. Fourth place is $2,000. Fifth place is $1,200. It's such a beautiful place. Not only is the fishing amazing, the people are amazing, the food is amazing. Even if you're not a tournament competitor, you need to come to experience this river.
Welcome to the 2025 Alligator Festival.
Well, sitting on front porch, sitting on lawn, single shot rifle at the one-eyed dog.
With a prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance from Pastor Caleb Dufresne with First Assembly of God in Des Allemands.
Good evening. Father, we just thank you. We honor you in this house, God. We honor you in this room, in this meeting. Father, your word says that you appoint all authority. So we just ask for wisdom, God, wisdom from above, God, to lead with integrity and honesty, God, as we steward what it is you've asked us to lead. In your name, we pray. And we can turn to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic in which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Pastor Dufresne. Councilman Fisher is not in attendance at this time. Ordinance scheduled for public hearing introduced at the previous meeting, file number 2025-0161, an ordinance to approve and adopt the appropriation of funds for the St. Charles Parish Consolidated Operating and Capital Budget for fiscal year 2026. Thank you all for being here today. I would just ask all the agency representatives that you please remain in the chambers once you've made your presentation until we have the public hearing, in case there are any questions. Okay, we're going to begin with the agencies and boards, and we're going to hear from Ms. Leanne Benedict first with the library.
Good afternoon, council members. You have hopefully received the library's proposed 2026 budget, which will go before the library board in November. The biggest thing, I guess, increase you'll see in it is with our Hanville branch construction project that we're working on plans for right now. We're in the middle of working with our CMAR and our architect. We have done the 30% estimate, which came in higher than we were anticipating on budget, so we've increased the budget line for that. But if you have any other specific questions about our budget, I'm happy to answer them.
Thank you, Ms. Benedict. Councilwoman O'Daniels.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Could you give us an idea that you said increased to 30% estimate? So what is the estimate now for the build?
So the estimate right now is a little over 9.1 million. The initial 30% estimate came in at 10.3. So we worked with them to do some reductions. We reduced the size of the building, I think by about 2,000 square feet. We reduced some of the parking, some other changes, moving the building forward on the property to reduce the amount of concrete, reduce the size of the meeting room. It's still going to be a nice size meeting room comparable to the one at the East Regional Library. So we've made some changes. They did a 30% estimate on that, which came in a little bit over 9.1
Okay, so this
million.
this is a Hanville branch, not a regional library.
Correct.
Right? Okay, thank you
Yes.
so much.
Councilwoman Wilson?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Ms. Leanne, you stated that the square footage has decreased by 2,000. So what was the original square footage?
The original square footage was, I believe, and I had those numbers written down and I didn't grab that paper. It was close to 15,000. We brought it down to gross square feet is around a little over 13,000. So it is still going to be a really nice size building. Keep in mind, this is going to have our Louisiana room, which is our historical collection. At this branch. So to compare, our St. Rose branch is 10,000 square feet.
Okay, council members, any other questions for Ms. Benedict? Seeing none, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Okay, now we're going to hear from Ms. Victoria Bryant with the Arc of St. Charles.
Good afternoon. Thank you all for having us here. You all have received our budget. So I'm just here to answer any questions that you might have. I do have with me Pernell and Ashley, who represents the CPA firm that works with the organization with our financials.
You don't have any of the proposed construction numbers
The
in
proposed construction, yeah. So right now we're not doing much. We're basically waiting to see if we're going to be approved for the bond. That would help us finance this project that we're trying to do. Two of the buildings, Building A and Building B, must be demolished. We cannot upgrade it because we would not be able to meet code based upon all the things wrong with those two buildings. We still have our individuals in there. There's mold, there's electrical issues, plumbing issues in those two buildings, so they must come down. So we must do something to renovate that property. It has been there before me. I started in 1994, and some of the individuals say it was there when they started in 1971, and then it was prior to that, and we've done nothing much more than repairing the roof and some
and none
flooring.
of that's reflected in this budget that we have before us, right?
The only project related in this budget is actually the first payment of the bonds, probably by the end of 2026. That's the $450,000. But the actual, because there's no revenues from the bonds in this projection, the actual cost of the project's not
in, okay.
It's just the 1.4 million of millage monies.
Okay, I was just asking because I didn't see it in here. All right, any Councilwoman O'Daniels?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Could you tell us a little bit more about the new vehicles? I noticed that that's an area that was at 280, now it's at 180. There's certain 180,000. Is there some vehicles that you're looking to acquire, or?
And it's basically right now on hold. We're trying to get the building straight to figure out what funds we're going to need to cover that. But right now we're having the vehicles from the Department of Transportation, and those vehicles don't work right for us no more. Lots of repairs and maintenance that's needed for them. So we're trying to purchase vehicles from dealerships that will help cover. We're taking the seats out for wheelchairs that we could use them versatile. So those vehicles are more expensive. They're like $90,000 to $100,000 each. We were able to get 2 last year. We're waiting now, and so it's on hold a little bit.
Okay, so you're looking at, if all things go well, you're looking at maybe acquiring
But
2
everything
vehicles.
goes well and everything's approved, then we can move forward with getting those vehicles.
Right.
As you all know, you can see us everywhere, and we put a lot of wear and tear on those vehicles.
Thank you so much.
All right. Any other questions for Ms. Bryant? Okay, seeing none, thank you.
Thank you all so much.
All right, and next we'll hear from Mr. Jedediah Jackson with the Housing Authority, St. Charles Housing Authority.
Good afternoon, council members. Parish President Jewell. My name is Jedediah Jackson, and I am the Executive Director of the St. Charles Parish Housing Authority. On behalf of our Board of Commissioners, our staff, and our HCV residents, it is my pleasure to come before you to discuss and to answer any questions you may have regarding our FY 2025-2026 Operating Fund and HCV budgets. Our budget was presented to our Board of Commissioners at our September 23rd, 2025 meeting, where it was reviewed and approved with a unanimous vote of the commissioners present. Our budget was then submitted to and accepted by HUD, and we have submitted the operating fund grant that accompanies it to ensure timely funding on January the 1st, 2026. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them for you.
Okay. Do you have a status update on the conversion?
Conversion, yes. So we did submit our pre-application to begin what is called the concept call process, which is a actual Teams meeting with HUD representatives to discuss the financing plan. We submitted that. They did send some corrections back, so we're in the process of completing those corrections. We will have to redo our resident meetings, which we're going to be doing on November the 5th. So we have those held at 1 and at 4, just in case anyone's working, so they won't miss that if they choose to attend. And once we get that done, we'll be able to resubmit that application. What may slow us down a little bit is the shutdown, because a lot of HUD staff are currently furloughed. So even our field office right now is out of touch because they're not able to be in the office. So, and we do project that we'll receive our funding through December. We, like I said in our, like I showed in our budget, we do have reserves just in case something does happen. We do have some other options in terms of financing, but we do anticipate receiving our HAP payments at least for the HCV landlords through December.
Okay.
And we do have a couple of months cushion in the funding that we currently have in the bank.
Good to know. Thank you for that update.
Yes.
I don't see any questions for you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Have a great day.
You too. And next we'll have Mr. Mark Kaiser with St. Charles Community Health Center. I think we have Peter Torch here, CFO. Are you the new CFO?
Yes. Well, maybe. Who knows?
Oh, okay. Interim. Let's say interim.
No, yes. Well, my name is Jeff Viel. I'm Director of Finance at Access Health Louisiana.
Okay.
Just a few things I want to point out. One thing, so the budget before you is actually just an allocation of the millage funding received from St. Charles Parish. That's going to be used exclusively to cover the expenses at our 2 primary care facility clinics in Luling and Norco. At those clinics, we provide about 30,000 visits a year and about 10,000 patients per year. The last thing is our fiscal year runs March through February, but this budget was reflected of a calendar year. So if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Is the shutdown affecting the community health center? Do you see any
Nope.
impacts? Okay, good. Okay, any questions for Mr. Vial? Seeing none, thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Okay, and next we'll have retired Major Sam Zinna with 911 Communications District.
Good afternoon. Budget is submitted before you, was approved by the Board of Commissioners. 2 points that I want to point out is account number 658. Y'all see the $1 billion in there. We're replacing 7 consoles at the 911 center, which the present ones are outdated, as well as intergovernmental 750. That budget has been trimmed down quite a bit because of the redundant radio system. Fortunately, we were able to get the monies from FEMA, which was a little over $1 million, and then Governor's Homeland Security provided some funds. So that cut it down quite a bit. So, but we still have 700,000 in there, and I wanted to tell Mr. Fisher that the redundant system and Mr. Jewell is now up and running. So 4 years, finally got it done. So,
Yeah.
but if y'all have any questions, I'd be glad to answer them.
Thank you, Sam. Mr. Fisher should be here a little later. He's at work right now, but we'll let him know. I'm sure
Okay.
he'll be happy to hear that.
Yeah.
All right, any questions for Major Zenna? I don't see any. Thank you
Okay.
very much.
As always, thank you for your support.
All right, and last but not least is Mr. Keith Dacus with Hospital Service District. I think we have Brianna here.
Hi, thank you for having me. My name is Brianna Sparnak. I'm the Director of Finance for St. Charles Parish Hospital. You may recall from past budget hearings that the Hospital Service District's fiscal year end is December 31st, which is different from the parish. So the budget that I'm presenting today is the 2025 budget, which is our most recently approved budget. The fiscal year 2026 budget will be presented to the hospital board for approval in December. If you have questions about the 2025 budget, I will do my best to answer them.
The hospital's calendar year?
Yes.
The parish is too.
Oh, is it?
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought y'all were September. I'm sorry.
The
Yeah, I
school,
thought y'all
the
were
school
September.
board is mid-year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So our 2026 budget will be approved by the board in December.
Okay. All right. Do you have any questions for Ms. Spartnick? Okay, I don't see any. Thank you, Brianna.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to have a public hearing. File number 2025-0161 is now open for public hearing. If there's anyone who would like to come up and speak regarding any of the items we've discussed thus far, please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record, and you'll have 3 minutes to speak. Okay, seeing none, public hearing is closed. Any council discussion on agencies and boards? Okay, seeing none, thank you all for being here. Appreciate it. Okay, we're going to move on to general fund. Do you want to speak now or after? Okay. General fund account number 001-400-112, page 73, Council District 2. Councilwoman Skiba.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would like to make a motion to reduce the following accounts in the 2025 budget under account 001-400112, Council District 2. 001-4001-124210, advertising in the amount of $380. 001-4001-1242222, printing in the amount of $3,150. 001-4001-1242241, postage in the amount of $5,700. 001-4001-1242242, telephone in the amount of $1,380. 001-4001-1242250, rental in the amount of $700. 001-4001-1124260, maintenance of property in the amount of $800. 001-4001-1242270, contractual in the amount of $2,900. 001-4001-1242280, professional services in the amount of $2,000. 001-4001-1243005, non-consumable in the amount of $9,500. 001-40011-24310 office supplies in the amount of $1,600. 001-40011-24325 food and clothing in the amount of $405. 001-40011-24410 travel in the amount of $6,000. Just read the next one too. Or do we
Go ahead and say
Okay.
where you're going to put it.
I would also like to make a motion to transfer a total of $34,515 from the General Fund 001 to Fund 113 Recreation for the purpose of improvements other than buildings 113-450-100-4630 AMA Park.
Okay. Just to clarify, it's one motion, and Councilwoman Skiba is transferring from the various accounts in her own council budget the amount of $34,515 to Fund 113 Recreation for the purpose of improvements at the AMA Park. All right. And we have a motion by Councilwoman Skiba, a second by Councilwoman O'Daniels. Please cast your votes. That passes unanimously. Councilwoman O'Daniels.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As other council members know, St. Rose has or had 3 parks, and now we're down to 2 parks. One is IMTT, and one is a park that is in Old St. Rose. And in the budget, the proposed budget, the president and his staff have set aside $200,000 for some equipment for our park, IMTT Park, which has equipment that's roughly, well over 10 years old. So in order to potentially close a gap, because this stuff is more expensive than you think it would be, I would like to make a motion to transfer $50,000 from General Fund 001 to Recreation, account number 113-450-11-4630 for improvements other than buildings to go towards IMTT playground equipment. And I ask my fellow council members for their support. Thank you.
Okay, just to repeat, Councilwoman O'Daniels wants to transfer from the balance of the general fund $50,000 to Recreation Fund 113, account 450-100-4630, improvements other than buildings for the purpose of IMTT playground equipment. Okay. And we have a motion by Councilwoman O'Daniels, second by Councilwoman DeBrouillet. Please cast your votes. That passes unanimously. Okay, now I'd like to give the floor to Finance Director Grant Dusum to provide a follow-up response to Councilman Pillier's question that he had at the October 28th budget hearing that required some additional research.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As Mr. Pillier pointed out in the Housing Preservation Fund, the amount of 512,200 obviously didn't look right, and it wasn't correct. There was a typo in the grant section. The true amount is 51,220. So just added a little extra zero.
What page is that?
That is on, I think, one. All right, let me pull it for you real quick.
148. I want to say. Is it 148?
Yeah, I got it marked here. 149.
149.
See it. Yep. So, should be 51,220. Now, of course, the fund doesn't stop there. Since that number is being pulled from the revenue section, 512,200 was put into the USDA housing grant that funded that. So, we have to make a motion to put the correct amount in of 51,220. In the USDA housing grant, so that would result in a reduction of $460,980 to general fund revenues. So in order to correct that, we will need to also reduce the transfer from the general fund to recreation by that same amount of $460,980. And we're going to take that transfer out of the portion that was going towards the gymnasium to balance that out so that the balances in total will remain the same. If you wouldn't mind, I can read the motion for you. And if you have any other questions, I'll be happy to answer them. But basically, it'd be a motion to reduce the USDA housing grant within the general fund on page 66 by $460,980, and to reduce the transfer from the general fund to Fund 113 Recreation for improvements other than buildings, 113-4501-4630 East Bank Bridge Park Gymnasium by $460,980. Please note that the expenditure amount for the East Bank Bridge Park Gymnasium will remain at $6 million, while the fund balance in Recreation Fund 113-4501-460 will be reduced by $460,980, leaving them with an ending fund balance of $983,287. And I'll be happy to explain that again if you need to. And we apologize for the discrepancy.
Thank you, Mr. Dewsum. It's just a typo with thankfully no real major impact. So to briefly just recap this motion that Mr. Dewsum's requesting, there's a need to reduce the USDA housing grant within general fund by $460,980 and reduce the transfer therefore from general fund to recreation for the East Bank Bridge Park Gymnasium by that same amount. And then the recreation fund will then be reduced by the $460,980 and leaves the ending fund balance that much lower. So I need a motion and a second, please. Motion by Councilwoman DeBrouillet, second by Councilman Commerdale. I should have asked you asked if there were any questions, but are there any questions just before we vote on the motion? Everybody's clear? Okay. All right, seeing none, go ahead and cast your votes. And that passes unanimously. Okay, Mr. Dewsum, you have the floor once again for some housekeeping items.
Yes, we do have a few housekeeping items that came up in the meeting yesterday. Most of these are just name changes, but we have to actually formally adopt an amendment to make the name change. It'll be a motion. We can do it all in one, or if you'd like to split it up into three, it's up to you. But we'll need a motion to change the title on page 197 from Cross Bayou to Cross Bayou Pump Station. I'll need a motion to change the department title on pages 135 to Homeland Security and Emergency Preparedness for their new name, whereas the original was just Emergency Preparedness. And we'll also need to change the title on pages 136 to 138 to Homeland Security and Emergency Preparedness Subsidiary from the original title of Emergency Preparedness Subsidiary. And the final motion, as I spoke yesterday about the front foot assessment, we do have a little chart of the totals that make up that balance, and we'd like to add that to page 240. And those totals will show Kellogg Paving for $642, Kellogg Water for $1, Willowdale Paving for $25,431, Ormond Water for $62,015, Ormond Paving for $233,210, Ormond Sewage for $62,698, Maryland Drive Water for $4,762, and Wade/Maryland Paving for $76,655.
And the total is
And the total is $465,415.
Okay, and go ahead and add another G on back of both of the Kellogg's. There's two G's at the end.
Gotcha.
Okay, just a brief recap. First part is to change the title on page 197 from Cross Bayou to Cross Bayou Pump Station. And then change the department title, or update it rather, on pages 135 to Homeland Security and Emergency Preparedness from the original title of Emergency Preparedness, and also to change the title to be the same on pages 136 through 138. Homeland Security Emergency Preparedness Subsidiary from the original title. And that's related to our ordinance that changed the department name earlier this year. Then also the motion to add the detail at the bottom of the front foot assessment, page 240. And I'm not going to repeat the detail, but it totals $465,415. Okay. All right. Any questions, council members, on that motion? Okay. Seeing none, we have a motion by Councilman Commerdale, second by Councilwoman O'Daniels. Please cast your votes. And that passes unanimously. File number 2025-0161 is now open for public hearing. If there's anyone who would like to come up and speak regarding this item or any items covered thus far, please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record, and you have 3 minutes to speak. Okay, seeing none, public hearing is closed. Any further council discussion? Okay, seeing none, there's an announcement. Ordinance introduced for publication and public hearing on Monday, November 3rd, 2025 at 6 p.m. in the council chambers here in the courthouse in Hornville. File number 2025-0161, an ordinance to approve and adopt the appropriation of funds for the St. Charles Parish Consolidated Operating and Capital Budget for fiscal year 2026. Adjournment, a motion and a second are needed to adjourn. A motion by Councilman Commerdale, second by Councilwoman O'Daniels. Please cast your votes to adjourn. And that passes unanimously. Have a great day. We are officially adjourned. Okay.